Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Haruel. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawa from the Men of Valor camp here in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, it can be edifying. And this is a Friday update concerning what's going on with the SNAP benefits. I know I've personally been covering this a little more because, hey, this is the catalyst for a manufactured famine. So yeah, I'm gonna keep speaking on this, because this is major. This hasn't happened too many times in history. All right, where these SNAP benefits then got cut off and people's life just hanging in the balance. All right, but from zeroheads.com, it says Trump files emergency appeal to block full release of SNAP funds. All right, so he's actively going against, them trying to get people SNAP benefits, man. All right, so that should tell you everything you need to know about Trump, man. It said the Trump administration on Friday filed an emergency request with the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to immediately block an order that requires them to distribute full November Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, or food stamp benefit to be paid to the states by Friday, and today is Friday. This is a crisis, to be sure, but it is a crisis occasioned by congressional failure, and that can only be solved by congressional action. The DOJ wrote in its motion, calling the lower court orders unprecedented and that it makes a mockery of the separation of powers. The DOJ is asking for a ruling by Friday afternoon, while the First Circuit has ordered the cities and private organizations suing for all benefits to respond in writing by noon. All right, so it's some things going on behind the scenes. It says on Thursday, U.S. District Judge John McConnell, and he was appointed by Obama, ruled that the Trump administration plans to provide only partial payments was insufficient, and that it needed to tap other funds to make full payments, resulting in today's emergency appeal before McConnell's mandated deadline to distribute payments to roughly 42 million recipients. The administration says that the government shutdown effectively means there's no SNAP program, and its hands are tied until Congress passes a deal to reopen. Courts are charged with enforcing the law, but the law is explicit that SNAP benefits are subject to available appropriations. Reads the emergency appeal. Indeed, governing regulations contemplate that in the event of a shortfall in funding, the USDA will direct the states to reduce their benefit allotments, which is precisely what the USDA did this week. Last week, McConnell ruled that the administration had to deplete a roughly $5 billion emergency fund at minimum, which comes nowhere near to covering the cost of full November payments of around $9 billion. The admin agrees to do this, but warned that the partial payments could mean weeks-long delays as recalculations are worked out. So they're trying to figure out if they can even send you people just a little bit of funding. All right. So they're saying their hands are tied. It takes $9 billion to fully fund everybody's SNAP benefits this month. And they have $5 billion in emergency funds in which the court is basically ruling to release those. But the Trump administration is filing basically an emergency appeal to block, a full release, So basically, they're going against, other branches of the government, so to speak, with the whole checks and balances thing. All right, is what I'm getting from all of this. So they're still trying to figure out if they can even send people partial. If they can free up these $5 billion, it still might take weeks for people to get it. So you're still going to have hundreds of thousands of people that are going to, they can't wait for weeks. Okay. And they're definitely not even talking about the government reopening. So what about December's benefits? What about January if they don't reopen? All right, so things are still going to continue to decline, and Trump is showing you that he still don't give a damn about you, man. Okay, so let's get this. Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not into the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. So you have our those of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that have been, uh, being nourished, all right, by this system, the same system that has oppressed us, and that was part of the curses, that we would go to our enemies for the one of all things. The average Jake isn't out here farming. We're having to go to these stores and stuff, and how most of these so especially the so-called black woman is able to even, grocery shop is by way of these SNAP benefits. Now, we already know that there's, a vast majority of Edomites that are on the SNAP benefits and stuff like that. But the Lord don't care about these people. The Lord cares about our people, and our people have, especially the women of our nation, are cleaving into the government. They're cleaving unto Esau instead of their men, and instead of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So they're trusting in this system, and it's biting them in the ass. Verse 2. Actually, no, let me jump down. Verse 3, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. All right? And these are the times that we're in. The Lord has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst of Egypt, and causing Egypt to err in every work. Are you having all these different, since they're not paying TSA because the government shut down, you got these different airports and stuff that are just jam-packed. You got things happening. Air traffic controlmen, aren't guiding the planes in properly. So this is affecting, more than just people not being able to eat. All right, it's affecting people's livelihoods. Meanwhile, the rich are getting richer. Elon Musk, his net worth past 500 billion. Salaki. Past 500 billion. He's on course to be the first trillionaire on paper. All right. Meanwhile, you have people struggling to even be able to feed their families and their children. Okay. Let's grab this. Now, before I bring this out, must, put the disclaimer out that this passage is speaking about Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, but these Edomites, the spirit of a damn Edomite, you can see that amongst, current rulers and whatnot. So let's get into it. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policy, he also, and through his policy also, he shall make, I'm butchering that. Verse 25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And again, this is speaking about Antiochus Epiphanes, but we see these same characteristics in Nero Trump, man. All right, through his policy, executive orders and whatnot, through his unrighteous decrees. All right, they were able to shut down the government. They couldn't come to a conclusion, and now people are dealing with the realization that they can't feed themselves or feed their families, feed their children, all because these guys can't come to an agreement. And they are in agreement. They're in agreement to starve you people out, man. You think because the Democrats want to blame Republicans and the Republicans want to blame Democrats, but hey, like the scripture say in Revelation, they had two horns like a lamb and they spake as a dragon. So they're speaking with these draconian measures, man. People gonna start losing their houses, losing their cars, losing their livelihoods, and they're already setting up homeless internment camps. All right, they're setting up a solution for you people because hey, the mission for them is more control. All right, that's it. That's all. More control, you having less, you owning less. Like Klaus Schwab said, you shall own nothing and be happy. So we're seeing a lot of these characteristics in how this current administration is governing, laws and such, man. The fact that they're trying to block, the full benefits going out, meaning they want people to starve, man. They want people to beg. They want people to be desperate. All right. They want to bring order out of that chaos. They want people to snap. Especially going, hey, that's the spirit. They want people to snap, man. They're withholding SNAP benefits because they want people to snap. Hey, the Lord got a sense of humor, man. All right, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that out, man. It's looking like people still not about to get their benefits, man. And even if they get half of it or a portion of it, they're still trying to figure out who gets what amount in proportion to what they would have normally got. So we'll see, man, how this continues to affect, grocery stores, affects crime, see if these women get on the internet, keep, lamenting and crying more. We're going to see all of this. And we're going to continue to praise Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukak Radash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Haruel. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till the next time, Shalom.